Delarite, my MVVs, welcome.
Yes, sir, Delarite. It's not a smart thing. No report has it that Ebony has been banned from the Ooni of Ife's wing completely. Palace workers report her meltdown in the corridor. It is not a small thing, okay? They say that this would be the first time that any Olori has been barred from the wing, not the chamber. You know that we continually hear that somebody has been restricted from entering the Ooni of Ife's palace. This wife has been restricted for 3 months for that and all of that. We have never ever heard that somebody has been barred, like completely from the royal wing, the Ooni of Ife's wing, like completely. And you know that when Ooni of Ife speaks, okay, his word is Lord in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. Delarite, what you are about to hear will shock, you just the same way it shocked the walls of the Ile-Ife palace. It's not a small thing. It was indeed a scene that no one expected, a moment of raw emotion, spiritual finality, and royal assertion. It all began when Ebony, of course, attempted to make her way into the king's private wing, a space that is not only secret but reserved for the one woman the Ooni holds most dear, okay? That woman is Queen Naomi. So the private wing now, we heard that Ooni of Ife has made it clear that no Olori goes there except Olori Naomi. But you do know that for the other Oloris who are in good place with the Ooni of Ife, there is a specific wing that they enter, okay? Now, why is the Ooni of Ife trying to make this distinction? It's because of the fight that is happening between the Oloris and Olori Naomi. I think that it was an advice that came from Yanifa and the elders. But the other area of the private wing that the Oloris are, allowed to enter, they said, eyewitness say Ebony had been, really embarrassed and asked not to show her face anywhere around there, okay? Now we all know what is going on. Ever since Queen Naomi boarded the Ooni's brand new Gulfstream G700 jet and quietly, moved her things to the royal villa belonging to Ooni of Ife in the Kingston Heights in London, the atmosphere in the palace shifted. Tension grew, jealousy lingered, and Ebony in particular became visibly restless. Sources within the palace say she had begun dressing, more extravagantly, performing sacred rituals without the approval of the elders and constantly trying to gain the Ooni of Ife's attention. Her goal, it seemed, was clear: to be seen, to be acknowledged, and perhaps to compete with Queen Naomi's irreplaceable presence. But that is not happening. But then came the morning when she decided to cross the line. She approached the corridor leading to the king's private quarters, an area known to be off limit unless specially summoned. As she reached the entrance, guarded as always by trusted palace, aid, the unexpected happened. The Ooni of Ife himself appeared, his eyes calm yet sharp, scanned the situation, and then, in a voice that carried not just authority but spiritual finality, he declared, "Stay away from my wing completely. You can never, take Naomi's place in my heart, no matter how many waters you enter." They said grabs filled the corridor. The guards stood frozen. Even the breeze seemed to pause in respect of the moment. Ebony, stunned and speechless, fell to her knees. Then, unable to contain the weight of that ejection, she collapsed fully to the floor and began to weep uncontrollably. Her eyes were loud, desperate, and filled with disbelief. She kept begging, "Kabiyesi, please, please, I love you," but the Ooni had already turned away. Palace workers later described the moment as deeply unsettling. One maid said she had never witnessed such emotional collapse within the palace, where Ebony tore off her gele in anguish, a symbol of disgrace and, loss of honor in Yoruba culture. Some junior queens stood, Junior Ayaba stood watching two afraid to approach her, knowing full well that she had just knowing full well what had just occurred was not just a personal dismissal, it was a spiritual ejection. In Yoruba royal tradition, the king's private wing is not just a bedroom, it is the inner, sanctum, sorry. Only the queen who holds the spiritual key to the king's spiritual key to the king's destiny may enter, for they will need to deny Ebony access in front of witnesses means her position has been so degraded in the eyes of the crown, the palace, and even the ancestors. The word, no matter how many waters you enter, are particularly symbolic. Water in Yoruba cosmology represent cleansing, transformation, and spiritual rebirth. The Oni was essentially saying that no matter the ritual, no fasting, no spiritual bath can make Ebony worthy of Queen Naomi's place. Destiny has, already spoken. Now, as expected, the ripple effect of the confrontation spread fast. Ebony, once bold and proud, has gone into isolation. Some palace sources say she has refused food for, days. Others say she's consulting spiritualists outside the palace to help reverse whatever it is that has been done. But among the elders, the message is clear. When a king declares a woman spiritually unfit to enter his most sacred space, no power can change that, not even Ebony's tears. Meanwhile, Queen Naomi remained far from the palace, but closer than ever to the heart of the Ooni of Ife. Her recent, choices of words, where she told Kabiyesi, they said recently she told Kabiyesi that no matter what happens, they will stay together. That that. They said just that thought alone alleviated her in the eyes of many. The Oni's unwavering loyalty to her, despite distance and politics, is now being seen not just as love but as divine connection. One elder even said Naomi is not just a queen, she is the crown destiny. Okay? The other wives are learning that the way, of course, learning in the hard way. Now, palace aides are whispering that Ebony's days may be numbered. No matter how she tries, her influence has won. Even those who once aligned with her are backing away. Nobody wants to be associated with the queen whom the king has publicly dismissed and spiritually ejected. The corridor that once echoed with her laughter now feels colder with silence. It is not a small thing that is happening in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. They said this is all happening because of what the godmother exposed, that she's been moving from one river to the other, trying to undo Olori Naomi, and the Ooni of Ife is not having it at all, and that is why the Ooni of Ife, barred her completely from his private wing and is ready to take away all her privileges. I'm going to bring you more updates. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.